Live. There
Yeah,
it
we're
says it.
live.
We're
Hi,
live.
everyone.
Okay.
So I'm Dr. Andrew Gardella, and I'm here with Dr. Glenna Rice, and we're talking about what is SE for bodies. And we should have another person coming on, Anjana, Dr. Anjana, but she is having technical difficulties in India. So she may pop in, she may not, I don't know. And what would it take for her to show up? So, as I was saying, we're talking about SE for body. What is SE for bodies? And so, with that, I guess. Oh, I should introduce you first, probably, for the people that don't know you. So,
Okay.
with us is Dr. Glenna Rice. She's been a physical therapist for how many years? Practicing
Like
physical
uh,
therapist for
25 years or something like that. I'm aging
25 years.
myself,
So
but
we'll just say 25 years of body work. You started when you
yeah.
were 5, right? Um,
Yep.
and and she's also a 3-day access 3-day body class facilitator, and she's now also teaching SE classes, which are the energetic synthesis of structural embodiment. And with that, I guess I feel the people already, they're like, what is it, tell us more about it. It looks really weird and I don't know what it is, so tell us.
Okay. You want me to tell you what ESSE is? It's not something I can say in a couple words, but the energetic synthesis of structural embodiment is a body work, hands-on body work and energetic work that Susie Godsey, who's been working with horses and doing animal classes, she's an access facilitator, also has been teaching for quite a few years on horses. And she was teaching it on bodies, and that's not her forte, or she doesn't really enjoy it, but she loves working with the animals. So a year ago, I was talking to Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, and asked him if I could start teaching with his bodies. And he was kind of like, wow, yeah, we've been waiting for you to ask this for quite a while now. And that started it going. But I've been doing body work based on, it's called myofascial release work for years. I think I started training in that about 15 years ago. And when I started doing Access 10 years ago, I added all of the tools of Access to the body work I was doing, and it just expanded everything that was possible that I'd been doing so dynamically. So this body work is targeting the connective tissue of the body, and there's a lot of different practitioners and different types of practice out there in the world that does target the connective tissue. There's Rolfing, there's myofascial release, cranial sacral, anatomy trains. There's a lots of different things that are talking about it. This is actually adding the consciousness tools of Access to this work in a way that is incredible. You're really starting to become aware of what it is to follow the energy of a body, to start listening to a body, to talk to it and have it talk to you and know what it would like to change in a totally different way. Andrew, you just took the SE class that we did. We did an amazing class in Edmonton last weekend, actually, with Susie. It was the SE Extravaganza. And it was a combination. Yeah, it was an awesome class. It was an awesome class. And it was a combination of the SE work with the bodies and the horses. Now, this class I'm doing in India, which is the next one coming up, which is SE for bodies, will not have horses in the venue space with us. But this one was combining the work I'm doing with SE and what Susie's been doing with SE. And it was incredible. And so, Andrew, you just experienced that. And you've been to other intro classes that I've done with SE too. So how would you describe it? You're a chiropractor, you've worked on bodies for years, and you've had lots of training in different modalities. What would you say about
I just say I love it because I kind of come from a similar background as you. I was doing using access tools, and I was also in chiropractic school. So for me, SE is kind of like where I started almost in a way, because it was like what I was learning. I was learning chiropractic manual techniques and everything at the same time as I was becoming a certified access facilitator. So for me, it was like always one and the same. And when I talk to other people, or even other people that don't do access, obviously they don't have the questions, but even people in access that are body workers, it was always that they learned their body work and then they learned access. And this class is kind of like, okay, you're learning body work, you're learning the tools of access at the same time, which is really cool. And it's really awesome because the whole thing about access is empowering you to know that you know, and
it?
you're doing it with bodies and with manual therapy and techniques.
Yeah.
Which is
And,
really
and
interesting. Which is like, like coming from a traditional background, it's like, because we're always looking at, okay, where, how do I know where to put my hands on the body? And you kind of give people a completely different way of like knowing what the body actually requires. And it's
Cool.
not through books or learning or, you know, like an x-ray that we can take to say, oh, this is out of
Yeah.
alignment.
It's definitely not, it's not cognitive, and the therapy techniques are not tricky. They're not like something you need to spend hours learning. They're different. I mean, I'm going to be teaching different actual techniques. And even that, like, what is that? Like, let's not even solidify what a technique is, but different ways to place your hands to move different things in the body, to change different things, and how to look for them, and give you a real feel with what of how the fascia feels. So let me talk about fascia a little bit, because that might help a little. So fascia is this connective tissue that is everywhere in your body. It surrounds every cell. It goes through your cells. It's down to the DNA, and then it goes out and it connects every cell to every cell, and then every muscle to every muscle. It surrounds all your nerves, all of your bones, through your brain, your nervous system. Everything is connected to everything through the fascial system. It's made up of collagen and elastin fibers, and it is like a big spiderweb matrix of this tissue that is around your whole body. And with traumas, overuse, injuries, aging, the density of this reality that we live in all the time, your points of views, all these things will start to solidify, harden, and densify and clump up this tissue. And when that does it, it makes the body so the structure of your body isn't able to move and flow the way it should. So I'm going to be teaching techniques based on being a question with the body, which is the access tools, being a question of the body and how to follow the energy and never force the change. There's going to be techniques that you're going to learn that will allow you to will allow the bodies to start changing this stuff. And I will be talking you through different ways to follow the energy of its change, how to feel that change in your body and in their bodies, and see what's going on. And if you're taking the class, you're also going to be receiving this incredible work for 2 days, which when I first got just the taste of it without the access tools, it changed everything in my body. Like leg lengths that were different changed. So with the access tools, the dynamic ability for this work to create something different for your body is kind of beyond amazing. So Andrew, you've experienced the body work too. So how did that
Mhm.
feel with your body? How did that feel receiving it also? Not just
Uh,
as a practitioner, but as
oh,
someone who
well,
got the
like
work.
receiving it, I think that's
Yeah.
even better, right? I, um, um, wow. I think it's just, because I was an athlete for so many years. I wrestled for 16 years all the way through college.
Right.
So, and I've always been really active. So I haven't broken anything, but if there's a joint that I haven't sprained, I'd be kind of surprised. Um, so it's really awesome
So
for
just
me.
to say that those kind of injuries that we've had through our lifetimes are all the ones that can start to create this fascial tissue thickening and hardening and making your movement limited and creating pain and strange things in your body.
Yes, totally. Thank you for that. I just forgot about that. So and so that this is like the one thing that I found that really started dramatically changing all of that. Even when I was in chiropractic school, I found something that was working with the fascial system, and experiencing those sessions, they just dramatically helped change my posture, and just the way my body felt. Because after getting these sessions, and especially these ESSE sessions, my body just has a sense of lightness that I don't really find with many things.
Yeah.
And it's like almost like it's not that my body's bigger, but I feel like it's more expansive in the space that it occupies. Like it doesn't, like I'm floating along the ground.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. And it does create that, because this kind of tension that's in your body that, so many tools can create a change with it, but sometimes the body requires manual therapy to really get into the tissue and start talking to the tissue and asking it to change. And the cool thing about this fascial tissue is they've been studying it quite a bit in the last 10 years or so. When I first started doing this work, there was no studies, and now there's quite a few published. I actually just finished my doctorate degree and did my final paper presentation on this, and there's a lot of work that's being done on it. But what they used to do is just tell the doctors and whoever was doing the anatomy classes to get that stuff out of there, because it was so complicated, so confusing, wasn't linear, didn't make any sense, that they couldn't even explain it. Now they're starting to look at it live with electron microscopes in living tissue, and they're seeing that it's changing. Like, it changes constantly all the time, every day, just from regular movement. And some of this stuff just gets hardened based on whatever's going on. Like, and those are the things that the Access tools can really start to change more dynamically than any other way of doing this work. So one of the people that one of this, if you go to the video "Strolling Under the Skin," is an amazing video that they have out there that shows the tissue live. And in that video, they mentioned at one point, which just was fascinating to me doing Access, is that this tissue responds to a question. So when you're a question with the body, when you're touching the body, and we're going to be showing you ways to touch the body with gentleness and kindness and caring and ease that you probably never even imagined possible with being with the body and talking to the body. And it responds to a question, and we're going to be teaching, we're going to be giving you questions that you can use with your body and with other bodies you work on. So I know Anjana, who's not here yet, it's a really bummer to not have her because I know she had amazing questions for me. And she is the host of this India class. And I'm also, just for my other host who's in Denver, Colorado, who's doing my next one in Denver. We'll just mention I'm doing one in October then also, because she would love me to put that out there to everybody. So I would love her questions, Anjana, on this call. So it's kind of a bummer. Maybe she's starting to get on. I know she's Skyping us right now. So maybe what's possible with this we've never considered. So where was I going with that? I was talking about the connective tissue and how we go into be a question with it and how it changes. Oh, what you're going to get out of it. That was one of the questions that Anjana had mentioned to me before we lost her. There she is. Yay. Yay. Maybe we see her. We don't see her face yet, but we see the square. Maybe she can actually ask the other ones. Yeah, Andrew, you have something?
Well, I was just saying, like, you know how you said this tension that the body kind of holds. It's like after these sessions, my body kind of feels more bouncy again.
Ah, yes. And that's one of the ways you kind of look at the fascial tissue with touch. I mean, it's just not touch you perceive it with. It's an awareness and a space and a way of you becoming more space through the energy of their body. Like I talked, the being that you are, where you are is the space between the molecules of your body, and when you're working on bodies, you're the space between the molecules of their body also. So we're going to allow you to have more of that possibility when you work on bodies. She's back. Anjana, can you hear us? She's on mute. I see her mute sign. Is there? Hi? Can you hear us?
Hi. Yes.
There she is. Hi. Welcome. Welcome. I was just saying, I can't wait. I hope you come back. What would it take? Yeah, what would it take for Anja to come on? And there you were. So how cool is that? I was just going to say that you had amazing questions for us. So we've just kind of described the connective tissue of the body and a bit of what ESSE is, not huge details of it. But I know you had questions for me. One of the questions you were curious about was, or you'd been asked, is what people will get out of this class if they're practitioners or work on bodies. So I was just going to say a little bit about So if you're somebody that works with bodies, like you're a massage therapist, a chiropractor, a physical therapist, doctors, nurses, whatever your body work therapy that you do is, this will give you some, there'll be tools you'll be able to use right away that you can start using in your practice. You'll be able to easily start using them in what you do. So if you're a massage therapist, one of the great things about working this way is because one of the huge things is you never ever force the body, because the connective tissue has a really interesting way it functions. If you put force through it, if you push through it, it actually resists you, and that doesn't break up and change and remodel the system, and that's what we're asking it to do. We're asking it to change so there's more ease in the body. And if you're using force at all, and I don't mean force like you're using a chiropractic technique, which is forceful, or you're doing a deep tissue work, which can be forceful. I'm talking about you never do force when the body isn't willing to receive that force. So we're going to be showing you how you can know that when the body is wanting the work with ease, and how you can ask the body to receive it with ease, and how you can follow the energy of what the body is asking for so you can create the changes you want to. Because if you force the tissue, this doesn't work. So you really have to be a question with what the body is asking for. And you'll be able to apply that to not just your body and the bodies you work on, but your entire life. So we'll be giving you access tools that will change more than just that. So I know you just came on, so what else? Is there something you have that you've wanted to ask me about what this class is about?
There were a few Yeah. So there were a few questions like how does an essay class differ from the 3-day body class? What's the
Right.
difference between the
Okay.
two classes?
Yeah, that's a great question. Now, a lot of the stuff about bodies that I talk about and changing and clearing and using the access tools will be so similar I couldn't say that there was a difference, because that's going to be what the class participants, so much of the body class for me is also what the class participants are bringing to the class, what they want to look at, what they want to change, and what they want to know. So that there'll be a similar way of being with the class with that. But the body class, the 3-day body class, is based on energetic techniques, which, by the way, for those of you that aren't listening, that don't know, you just showed up, I am doing a 3-day body class at 3 days before this in Mumbai also, so you can have 5 days of amazing body work. The 3-day body class is energetic processes that allow your bodies to start changing things that it's limited itself in, which sounds similar to what I was just saying, but there's energies you're running on the body that allow the body to access energies that it has available to it also, because we all have energies that we have. There's thousands of energies available that we can use to change other bodies, to change our bodies, to change the planet, to change everybody around us. And the 3-day body class allows you to access those energies. And then there's 60 some different processes you can use to start changing things based on what the body's asking for. So in that class, there's not actual techniques that we use on the body to change the connective tissues. They do, and there are 4 or 5 body processes that I will be showing in this 2-day class, and I have an awareness directly create changes and contribute to the ESSE work, the energetic synthesis of structural embodiment. So this is a little bit more active, I guess you could say. You're going to be a little bit more active with the body. Then there is often movement involved. One of the things I show people is giving the body permission to move, to contribute to the changes it's asking for. So that often shows up. It's not something that is planned. It tends to be the bodies choose that if they choose it. And there may be some other movement, because the structure of your body can change so dynamically that it's very strange when you get up off the table and walk, because things that were limited are now moving dynamically. So there could definitely be some movement, some activities we may do to help your body to start to learn how to be with this new space that's available. So, and that's not something that's part of the 3-day body class. I mean, I'm describing 2 classes at once. Does that give you some idea? If you have another question,
Exactly.
And Andrew's been in both classes, so anything you can add in, please.
Well, I think the key thing we're talking about is there is the word structural in energetic synthesis of structural embodiment. Yeah. So really, this class is dealing with structural work. So in the body class, we're putting hands on, we're asking energies to run, and yes, it can change structure, but really what we're looking at is changing the energies that are available to the body or that are creating the dysfunction in the body. This class that we're talking, ESSE, what we're talking about is undoing the structural stuff that was created in the body for, based on those energies or whatever.
So based on, lifetime after lifetime of stuff we brought in, based on the injuries. I mean, people have had stuff that happened at their birth that changed, that they were, had something that was going on for years. Now, I know, Anjana, you're an occupational therapist, right? You have your doctorate in that.
Exactly.
And you have learned it in your training, some myofascial release techniques.
Myofascial release, yes.
Yeah, yes. I don't know how much you use them in your practice, but do you find that you use, like, what do you?
Yes. Yeah, it has helped me a lot. Like, I work, major population where I work in is with kids having physical difficulties, and it has helped them right from their respiratory problems to improving their gait, to improving their muscular problems, which they have had. It can be an atrophy, a dystrophy, or the way they really move. And it has helped them in creating better movement than before, which automatically creates the sensory system in a very different way than otherwise, and sorts out most of their problems which they come to me with. And it's not just applicable for kids. I have worked with quadriplegics, I have worked with paraplegics and scoliosis, and I know it has made so much of a difference just working on the myofascial level. So I can imagine the ESSE can do like so much more.
Yeah, it's like that's the. I mean, we're kind of targeting the fascial tissue, but we're really targeting the beingness of you, and it's the energetic synthesis of structural embodiment. It's like this embodiment of our bodies and the structure. So the structure of your body is working with you, and you're working with it to create to create a body we've never even imagined possible. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the kind of the clients or patients I've seen over the years using this is, I work with a lot of gymnasts and martial artists come in to see me quite a bit when they start to get injured with what their training is, because when they start to get injured more, it means their body doesn't have that freedom and pliability, that bounciness that I talk about of movement. So when they take a punch or they fall off the balance beam or whatever it is they're doing, they get injured instead of just bouncing up and coming back from that, because the body should be able to, take a fall, get some impact, and be able to just come back from it, because the structure should have this fluidity in it, so movement that doesn't create an injury in any other part of the body, because it can't take that. So they'll come in and see me when stuff's going on. So that's like, I mean, not that everyone coming to class is going to be a gymnast or a high level athlete, but they because they're using their bodies in that way, they really get how it changes it, and it changes this with every single body I work with.
Okay, so my next question on this, Glenna, would be like, if a layman, an absolute layman, comes to you for an SA session, which people would be able to offer after doing this class, what would I talk about in SA session? Like, what is it that I can tell the person? What does the session do?
Well, I mean, with this, right, the stuff that I've talked about is what, what can the person hear is another thing, what they can receive about the work, and we'll talk about that in the class. That'll be part of, if people are practitioners and they want to know how to talk about it. And it totally depends on what area of practice they're in, also, with who's going to be seeing them. I would say, I always start a session with, if you can change anything with this, what would it be? And people come to me with their stuff. They've got, my ankle's injured, my back hurts, I've got, I have difficulty walking in the morning because my feet are sore. All these, my neck, I have neck pain. All these things that people have their complaints about. You're going to have tools to look at that in a completely different way and not make those complaints solid, and be able to ask the person questions to start opening up what actually is the creation of these problems and how you can change those with questions and with the structural stuff. Because this tissue is connective everywhere in their body, often the injury that's in the neck or the pain that they're having in their neck has nothing to do with their neck. Like, you can work on their lower back or their leg and start changing their neck. So you're going to be opening to following the body of actually what is creating this thing that's going on in their body, this issue, and how do you find that, and how do you change that with ease. Nice. It's really about following the energy of the people you're working on, following what's going on with them. That's going to be a big part of the class, and this ESSE technique gives you a way to start perceiving it in a totally different way, because your body gets so much awareness from their body, and that's part of what this class will show you.
So are we also looking at like, if I would like to give this only if a person has deformities, like I have nothing right now, and can I still receive an ESSE session?
Oh my God, yeah! I just actually found someone just the other day that actually was trained in the way I was years ago, without the access tools, but lives in my neighborhood. And I walked into it, because my body loves this work, absolutely loves this work, and I really have no pain in the body since access, and the work that I do, my body rarely ever has anything that goes on it, and definitely very little structural stuff. I get some chiropractic stuff with Andrew when he can work me in. And so I walked into the guy's office and I said, he goes, "What's going on with you?" And I was like, "My body's really great. I just need a tune-up." And he was, so no, you don't have to have a specific thing going on to have the structure of your body have an ease that you've never imagined possible. And it will give you this. You'll be surprised. Well, I think how much more is possible than what we're walking around with every single day.
And I think it's like people think that they have to have something going on, or we're talking about athletes because that's like a lot of what you treated. But it's like, if you look at animals or cats or stuff, when they like if they go into a sprint or when they run or something, like afterwards, or if they have like a fight or flight thing and they run away, afterwards they do this really weird shaking thing. And what they're doing is they're shaking out
Yeah.
all their fascial system. They're shaking out all the connective tissue and like resetting it. So what ESSE is really doing is we're looking at resetting the structures where they're restricted, so you can have ease with it. But it's like for people that just have a day job, for example, like one of the hardest things is people like sit at a desk and type all day. What ends up happening is their hands get like they end up with like carpal tunnel stuff or wrist pain, or they just feel like they're hunched over all the time and have like mid back pain. And all this stuff is because the connective tissue is literally starting to like lock down. And so what
Yeah.
ESSE is looking at is doing is opening all of that back up again.
Hey, I mean, you just see as going through life, a lot of people start to slump forward, especially for computers all day.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
posture over years and years will start to create, the tissue will start to solidify that, but also points of views. Like if you're shy or you didn't, want people to see you, you might actually solidify that posture into place with your points of views. The points of views can go away, but the structural stuff may still be there and need more hands-on things to start to change it. Those are the things that people will start to change. That low back pain that's been around for years, that whatever was back there that had been bugging the person may be cleared or changed, but they're still having some things, and we can open up that tissue, create it being more elastic, more movable, so the joints and the can start to be in alignment again, and the vertebrae can fall back into place, because really the structure of your body will fall back into this beautiful alignment once you release the stuff in this tissue. It's incredible.
Exactly.
It's really incredible.
Yeah.
And, you really have to perceive it and get it hands-on to see, to know
Yes.
the changes that happens.
Yes.
And I think one of the important things too is it's a little misnomer that a lot of people like to say that the bones carry the weight of the body. It's actually not true. Your body's like a suspension bridge, a walking suspension bridge, and the fascial system is the suspension that holds all the weight. So it's like when literally people start saying, like I feel lighter, is because all of a sudden I had all this extra stress in my body, or like extra tension that was making my body not function with as much ease. And all of a sudden when we go do these sessions, what we're undoing is all that extra stress or tension that's like locked into the body. And all of a sudden, it's like the body gets to function with more ease and more space, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just had, I mean, this is a horse example, but it was so amazing just in this session, the class we just did. And the horse had no point of view and couldn't tell me what was going on. So this is like, we can extrapolate this into people bodies. But I was just pulled over to the horse at the end of, we'd been given some techniques, and then everyone was working on the horses, and I was pulled over to one towards the end, and I started working on the throat and the neck of this horse. And then the trainer came over and told me how the horse had had this terrible cold or a sinus infection, throat infection the year before, and it had been so intense that it had caused scar tissue, because this is a big part where scarring is where fascial system is bound down. All the scar tissue in the throat's horse had made it so when it had to do this movement where it took its head down and looked really pretty like horses do, it gurgled and couldn't breathe well, and they'd had the vet out, they'd had acupuncturists out, they'd had tons of people to work on it. I got my hands up inside there doing these techniques, which we'll show you how to do in the class, around like the trachea, and was releasing all the scar tissue. Now the horse is just calmly letting me do it, putting its head around my body, assisting me, moving its head side to side as I worked up in the throat region and under here on the horse. Afterwards, the trainer rode the horse, and it was stopped us all and was like, whatever you're doing is so amazing, because this horse is not having any of the problems it had yesterday. And it'd been going on for months and months and months. That was about 10 minutes at the most of work that changed and released the scarring, so the horse could then put the head in the position. It's a show horse, and it has to put its head in this really elegant position and run around, and it couldn't do it before, and it after 10 minutes of work, it was able to do it.
Wow.
And the horse didn't tell me what was going on. So it's not like you need to know what they say when they come in the door about what's going on. Your body will know. Their body will show you. Those are the techniques will be like, how do you know where to put your hands? How do you know what parts of the body to work with? How do you know that you know that? How do you trust what you know and what they're talking about, and what their body's talking to you about?
Right. And most of the time, actually, we ignore our bodies because we think everything is any which way is going to happen. So, this says a lot when you're saying this. So we're actually doing the rewiring of our structural system, I would say in short. when we're
Yeah,
doing an essay
yeah, we're
session.
rewiring. Yeah, yes, the structural system. So, and then that will create a change in our embodiment. Like we are
Yes.
the embodiment of, the way we embody in this reality and the way we create our bodies in this reality will change with this, because you're going to get an awareness that you've never had before about how the body feels, how it senses, how you perceive it, how you know it, and how it can talk to you and communicate with you. There's a huge amount of awareness that shows up with people in this class with bodies that I'm surprised at. Like, what this class is going to create is, I just know it's huge. I know when I feel the class, it's like, um, and part
And
of
I
it's
can
going to be,
literally feel it. Yeah,
yeah,
I can really
yeah.
feel it. Like,
And a huge
wow.
part is going to be the people that show up with what they want to know, what
Exactly.
they already know about bodies, and what they bring to the
Exactly.
class. So I'm just excited. I'm so grateful that you're willing, to do this class. It came up last minute, and we already have tons of
Exactly.
people signed up, and who else is signing up? So,
Yeah.
if you're
And we are
intrigued
having
in
it first time in India. And
the first
yes, and
official ESSE for bodies is going to be, yeah,
it's
since this
in
name, yeah,
India. So
yep, is going to be in
yeah.
India. So how'd you guys get so
Yeah.
lucky? And right after a 3-day body class, so I don't even know.
Wow.
This may be more than amazing than the horses. I don't know what we could create.
Yes. So what else is possible here? So anything else which you would like to tell us about what would be done at the essay class in general? What does it include, and how would it look like in those 2 days? What would the
Yeah.
people do so that they have an idea about it?
Okay, so we'll start out. I'll be explaining some of the stuff I've just explained on this call, but we'll go into more detail. Ask lots of questions, see what's going on with bodies, what they know, what they want to change. Talk about embodiment, talk about being aware of the body, talk about how you're a question with the body. Give them tools and questions to ask. Then demonstrate some techniques, and then you'll work on each other. So I'll show a
Okay.
technique, and then you'll work on it, and you'll trade, and we'll talk about that. We'll show another one, and we'll see how many amazing techniques we can get in 2 days.
Okay. Okay.
And
Oh wow. And
go ahead.
are
And
we
I
having
think,
a manual as well so that people can go back and look
Yes,
at it?
yes, there is a manual. Yep.
and
There
I
will be
think
a manual.
the other thing is when we're talking about techniques too, it's like these are very like malleable techniques. It's like things that can be applied to anywhere in the body, and she'll give you like a different toolkit of these different techniques, and then pretty much you can you'll get to know like, okay, body, like what do you require here? Among these different things, like what do you
Yeah.
require here, and then you can use it, but they can be applied to like the different situations.
Yeah, they'll be real broad. There'll be techniques you can use
So
anywhere
it's
in the
almost
body.
like I'm
Yeah,
like it's like, okay, the body requires this kind of movement or this kind of assistance to move through this space or into this restricted area. And it's like, so you're going to be showing just some kind of general ideas about like, okay, if we have this going on, what would we do? If we have this going on,
yeah,
what would we do?
yeah. And you don't need to be a practitioner to come to this class. The prerequisite is the bars class, because I would really like to have people that have some understanding of the access clearing statement, and access tools and how access works, because that's a huge part of what we're doing. We're just adding tools to this access work to work on bodies is really what it is. And if you are a body worker or have been, work with people, and you have quite a bit of experience with that, talk to Anjana or email me, Glenna@glennarice.com, and so permission of the instructor, who is me, is a possibility with that. I would have you look at some things online and look at declaringstatement.com to do that, or talk to Anjana. She may be able to do a little intro for you if you can't get a
Yeah.
bars class in before this class.
Yeah. So that's one thing which I wanted to say. If anyone is interested in the class, they can just call me, buzz me, and let me know what else is possible, and we could look into it. A quick question around that part was: do we need a license to practice this?
Well, that is totally dependent on the country you live in and what you're doing. Like if you have a license to touch bodies, if you're a massage therapist or some kind of a body worker, and you're already touching bodies, this is going to be something you can probably add in without an issue. If you don't have a license to touch, then you need, that's totally dependent on the licensing of your country. It's different in
Right.
America and it's different in India. Sometimes in America you can get, some religious license to get them, or you can get a quick massage degree. to do these things. It's different with everyone. If you're already, and if you don't, the one thing about not having a license is no one can take your license away from you, but you need to be aware. Right, you need to be aware. You need to be aware of the clients you're bringing in. This is not something that's giving you a license to touch bodies based on like every country is different. There's a lot of different rules and regulations, and you guys know that better than me.
Exactly. And every country, India has various things and various licenses for various purposes. Yeah. And they're not a mandate either, so I can imagine. And if I go and practice in US, I have a different license to practice with. So
exactly. And it totally depends on your country and all the boards and regulation and all the systems out there. And how can you work around them so it works for you with total ease, and change what you would like to change with people without it being an issue. And we'll talk about that too.
I think we lost Angela.
She froze.
No.
I'm here.
Oh,
yeah,
you're
so
here? All right.
I'm here.
I can hear her. There she is. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, is there anything else which you would like to share about ESSE, or anything which Andrew would like to add on when he had attended the class? How was it? And
I'm looking
what
at
did
questions, so I'm like seeing.
Oh, okay.
I think we covered them all though.
Yeah, we covered most of them. Is there something else which you would like to add on? Because this is a completely new class which we are looking at, and is there anything which we missed on it?
I think it's like the one thing is when we talk about new classes and stuff, and especially with this class, because it's like, okay, before your first bars class, for all those access people, how many questions did you ask about what it's like, what it's like, what it's like? I still don't get it. What is it like? I still don't get it.
Right.
What is it like? It's just like at some point you just have to kind of like, okay, I'm interested, I'm going to show up or not. Like I can talk about it, but until like your body actually experiences it too, it's a whole different kind of description of itself, I guess.
Yeah, and well, what I'd like to, I'm so excited about teaching this. I've been, before the access tools, I was an instructor in the John Barnes myofascial release work for, I instructed with him, so I have a lot of experience teaching the techniques. This is this is new because it's not the techniques, it's the ability to use what I know about how to change bodies and bring the consciousness to that, bring awareness to that, bring the question to this, and this is going to translate into everything you do with bodies, not just the techniques and things I will show you in class, like whatever you're doing and working and how you're working with bodies, especially if you are a practitioner, because I've worked so many years with access tools in my practice, like you have, Anjana, and I'm starting to bring that to people, because people have come to how do you bring access tools to what you're doing outside of the access community or the access people that have done access? How do you use these things with people that don't have any idea what it is? And and this is consciousness. Everybody has the ability to have more consciousness, more awareness, and more possibilities. So we're bringing possibilities to the body in a new class that I'm teaching, but Susie has been teaching. A lot of people have taken this class with her instruction over the years, and I don't know. I'm just so excited.
Yeah, same here. For me, it's like having a new flavor of another ice cream, which I like. Let me just go and have it.
Yeah. And what's it going to create? What do bodies know? What do the bodies want to change?
Yeah, exactly. So, thank you so much, Glenna, for saying a big yes to having this class with India. Thank you so much, because had you not said yes, I was wondering, how do I ask her?
You know what's funny? We didn't tell people that we actually I booked the flights to India and booked the dates wrong. So I had 2 extra days on the flights and was looking at changing them. And then it was like, well, what if we did some class there? What if we did ESSE? And Anjana was like, yes! So I think the universe conspired a little bit to bring this class to India.
Yeah, I was like, can you do this, please?
Yeah.
Tricked into it.
United Airlines. They get tricky on that scheduling when you put in the dates.
I think the universe tricked us a little bit. I think you guys were asking for it. I think I was asking for it. The bodies are asking for it. People are really excited all over the world. We've been asked to do classes in Australia and Europe and America. So you guys beat everybody to it. How cool are
Yes,
you?
so we are starting the train. So, yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what else is possible, and how did we get so lucky with having you for this class? Because I'm so excited to have you for this class and to host you for this class. Thank you so much for it. And yes, Andrew, without your support, this class wouldn't be possible. I know this.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
thank you so
just
much for all the support. Yes.
to let people know, the class, the 3-day body class in India, that's 3 days before the ESSE class, is September 4th through the 6th, 4th, 5th, 6th, right?
Yes.
And it's on the Access Consciousness
Go to the
website.
sec-
Yes.
Yes.
And
And
during that class, on the third day, there's going to be a intro to the SC work that
ESSE.
isn't open to anybody, right? I don't know the exact time, Anjana. Would it be start around 1 o'clock? Is that
Yes. Yeah,
okay?
we would start it around lunchtime, and everyone is welcome to have an intro for essay if they would like to know more about it.
And if you want to know more about the wonderful Dr. Andrew Gardella here, he's also doing an intro. He's doing a class, unearthing the magic.
Unearthing, yes,
Unearthing the magic on the second day of the class on the 5th, correct?
yes,
Yes.
during lunchtime, and
During lunchtime.
yes, and you can join us, and yes, you can contact me to know more about it so that I can give you the details and how to register, how to go about it.
Yeah, and so that's the 3-day body class and all the stuff going on then. And then the 7th and 8th of September is when the introduction or the SE for bodies is beginning.
Exactly.
It's starting.
Exactly.
And then we also have an SE for body, the first one in the United States, in Denver, October 4th, 3rd and 4th, or 4th and 5th.
3rd and 4th.
Correct.
Yeah. And that's all. You can go to glennarice.com, which is my website, and you can link into my access page and find all the classes, or you can go to drglennarice.accessconsciousness.com, and that'll be all that you can sign up for all these classes there. Or you can call Anjana and get a hold of her,
And I
she
can
has all that
help
information.
you with it. Yes, and Dr. Glenna Rice and Dr. Andrew this time are also going to offer us sessions. If anyone is interested, they can let me know, and we'll book a session for them as well. So yes, we are having fun this time. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, fabulous. So I'll see you guys. I'll see you in about 3 weeks in India? 4 weeks? How far away is this class?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because I go to Costa Rica in
2
between.
weeks.
So I will see you very soon. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And we will be fresh from the facilitators. Yes. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
And bye bye.